Welcome, everybody, to another match on UK Valorant. I'm here today with Drunken Huntsman, and I am Joe, or McFloggle as you might know me. So, welcome. We're playing a match today on Haven, or our first match on Haven anyway. What would you expect to see sort of from the picks here, like the agents they're using?
On this map, Jet is the strongest by far due to the picks on B and A. But you also should expect probably a Breach, maybe, because it's pretty good for the B site. Definitely a Brimstone. Brimstone is invaluable on this site. You'll want a Viper to lock off the A on attack. And the rest are kind of indispensable. A Phoenix would be nice, because they are good for, all games. But you could pick any of the others. Cypher, Phoenix, any of them will do. But the main ones you're going to want in this map, definitely Jet and Breach and Brimstone.
I think Jet's always good, right? The high mobility lets you sort of move around, get to spots other people can't. I think that's always going to be useful.
It does give you especially for the better aim players in the game, Jet is by far the best due to the fact she can just dash out and get to an entirely new position. She can float over, get an entirely new angle, which they won't be expecting.
It took me a while of playing her to figure out that if you held space in midair, you would float down.
She's actually the only operator in the game with an actual passive at the moment, which is quite the weird thing. You wouldn't expect just one out of all the ones they made so far just have a passive, but it's pretty useful. It's very loud, but if you're not listening and you're focusing on gunfire, you won't notice her moving positions.
So as we go into the start, we see a Sage on both teams. I think that's always sort of expected from a game.
I imagine at some point that Sage will, on the fence, peek those B doors.
And we're seeing the attackers sort of play around C as their first site. Only two defenders nearby. The others not too far out. Phoenix and B there. We see three of the attackers trying to go through mid doors, but the Sage will meet them, so we'll have to see how that goes. Alliator trying to go C long.
Quite a fast push on the garage, at least. You're going to want to take that as a pretty vantage point, especially for C.
And we see Amonos get a frag right off the bat there onto mid doors, which means the rest of the attackers are rotating. Ooh, though Alliator does get the refrag. So it is 4-on-4 now. Attackers just seem to be sat around at the back here, not really trying to make any moves. The rest of the defenders pushing to reinforce.
As much as it seems more of often a throw around on things like pistol rounds, especially the first round, is so important, I find, for the rest of the game. It sets a tempo, first of all.
We see...
And that is going to be very important going into the late game.
R6 using his camera, trying to get some intelligence and pushing on the defenders. The Viper will... providing them with cover, but Aimbot Stalkers does spray through it. R6 goes down to Aimbot Stalkers again. That gives him 2 frags. DMU getting 2 frags with Snake, evening it out. And Snake finally gets the last frag on TJ, giving the defenders a round up at the start of the game.
That was a bit of a hectic first round, I'm not going to lie. There were lots of missed shots, lots of, I'd say, misplays, especially in garage. But the attackers look like they might be saving full this round, which is, I think, the correct thing to do. You don't really want to buy if you lose a round on the first one, because if you do this and you lose this next round,
you're really behind on your
eco. The next 2 rounds.
We see them again going from mid doors. Phoenix pushing rather aggressively up on them here. Just sat out in the open, but can't find any of them, so he's pushing up even further. Seem to be rotating towards A through Garden, but a few of the attackers going to C.
It's pushing quite far down on C. Right on C long there.
The defenders all seemingly playing quite aggressive, but it doesn't pay off on A, although
Aimbot has got the flag.
Does get 2 of them. He's still in an advanced position, but no one around him.
It is a bit
Raze
odd to see a Sage play on C, mainly because both other sites are so much more advantageous for a Sage, especially B. So you usually often see that any Sage player playing on B, especially as defense for this map. I don't know their tactics, but this could impact game later if they do not. But that's
Ooh,
safe B side.
That grenade giving Alliator all the information he needed to find the race, but can he get the frag off of it? Oh no, he can't. Echo peeks just at the right time and catches him off guard. Now, DMU does get the refrag, so it is just a 2-on-2. McFett catches Jam, 2-on-1 for the attackers, and Mikey
There's
is
a plant
planting.
coming in. And they have walled off heaven. Oh, but comes down from short.
Using the run it back to try and secure sight, but will he find McFett up here? No, he's going for the defuse. But it was a fake. Now he's back out of sight.
I expect him to push into hell here, most likely.
I don't know,
He's
he's
gonna get
rolling off and going for the defuse. Can he make it in time?
He's done the
Grenade
half
comes to stop
tactic,
him.
which is quite an advanced tactic, especially in these new ones. If you in CS:GO, you have to defuse the bomb all in one go. But in Valorant, they've changed it so the fact you can halfway defuse it, which is about a 7-second defuse overall time.
I mean, I think Aimbot they're playing incredibly well to get 4 kills in that round, so I think the defenders are buying a bit more heavily now, but the attackers seem to be going for another eco round, unless they're going to buy in a second here.
It
But I
would
guess we'll
make
see.
sense for them to buy this round, because if they lose another round, the money on the defender side is going to be astronomical. They're going to need to buy out.
And
it
they
will
have
more
indeed.
Phantoms and Vandals.
We see them all pushing mid window here, it seems.
We've
I'm
got a
just trying to
stage
get that
peek
same
on mid
spot.
there.
Sorkus again playing very aggressively. And it's putting him in quite a dangerous position, but can he get the frag hit?
Oh, he sees the Cypher to the right there.
Manages to pop the tripwire and does get the kill on R6. Pushing back to rotate towards window. Doesn't want to get caught off. Alliator does take down Aminus. Evening out the playing field.
I believe Sorkus is pushing so aggressively around because he knows that these attackers do not seem to want to push mid.
And he's taken down Alliator. DMU does go for a res, so still 4-on-4. He flashes himself as Snake takes down McFett. Aimbot taking down R6 again to get up to 3 kills this round.
Most
playing
people
rather
who play
aggressively
Phoenix do seem to have a problem with the flash. It is quite deceiving.
It doesn't seem to go
does.
that far around the corner, so if you're not right up on it,
It is seemingly short range, and it has a tiny delay before it goes off as well. So often you accidentally peek beforehand, flashing yourself, and often getting yourself killed.
Echo taking down DMU, but TJ taking down 1, but goes down to Snake. The attackers seemingly trying to save their guns there, but unfortunately it just didn't work with the amount of defenders that were pushing them.
This is going to get really difficult for the attackers now because they've lost that buy round. The defender's going to have a lot of money to buy out here. They're not going to be worrying about any money. Which means I expect, once again, for a quick march out of B, right onto mid window. But it looks like they might be trying to peek mid window this time with that raise.
I think
Raze
that's,
did
I think
get
that's the
nerfed.
play.
So she's not as effective as she used to be.
You're dead.
Yeah, we seem to have 3 attackers going down through mid courtyard here. Will the Rays find them?
I'd be surprised
Her
if
back.
the attackers did not expect this. They've rushed mid every round so far.
Careful now.
Again, Snake takes down Alliator with the ultimate. Doesn't find a second frag with it though. Aminus sat in his teammate's Molotov, not very helpful, wasting the heal.
The Omen has taken sewers.
I have retrieved the
They
spike.
do have a ready, but they all the defenders have rotated already. Round
DMU
A.
taking down his opposing Sage.
The clever play here would be to rotate to C.
And that does seem to be what they're doing. R6 taking down
They
Aimbot
managed to
Sorkus.
get the frag in B, which means they can just plant in B. But the Raze is going for the long flank around the right side of B there. Might catch out the Omen and the Cypher, who aren't looking that way.
Ooh, Snake taking down TJ. Getting those frags on side.
Now
DMU
neither are
evening out.
looking at if this Raze goes right, he can catch up the Cypher.
Well, they know
Behind
he's there now.
double doors.
Echo
that's
taking down Effect 1-on-1. R6 goes down to Echo, and the defuse is... Well, there's plenty of time to do that now.
That was a very good flank from Raze there. Just patience, walking there, not running, making sure not give any hints away for the enemy attackers.
Yeah.
This map is one of the harder ones to play on attack. This is very, very CT sided.
I think the attackers, well, they're gonna need 1 or 2 rounds.
They are
soon.
gonna need at least 2 soon to make sure they can stay in the running.
Is that
I
an
see.
operator on both sides?
Yes, Sorkers and Alliator have both bought AWPs. Let's see who has the better op skills in this round.
We see
Sorkers is
them-
going for the classic peek on mid window with the op.
The attackers seem to be going through garden to long. Although they're kind of spread out. R6 playing alone on C long, but his friends do seem to be coming up to support him or go through mid.
I am still surprised that the attackers still don't want to push mid, and they don't ever look at it, even though this round the defenders have not pushed it out. Every round beforehand they have, so you should really be looking at mid, waiting for them to come through to see if you can get a pick out.
I mean, actually, I saw last time I was casting, we were on this map for our first game as well, and we saw a very similar playstyle from the attackers where they weren't really confident enough to push anywhere. We see this sort of just like trading of wall bangs that aren't really going to get anyone onto site. Snake does take down TJ though. The slow play does not work for the attackers. Echo takes down R6. Snake takes down McFett. Alliator does manage to refrag on Snake, but it's still a 2v4 for the attackers. They're going back for Spike. They did lose control of it.
If I was the attackers now, I would just try and save that op. They do not have enough money to risk a 2v4 right now.
But
They
it does
should-
seem Alliator wants to go for it.
He does seem to want to push that C site, which there is only one at so far, but there is a quick rotation for
the other
both the
two.
Phoenix and the Sage.
They seem to... Ooh, Raze has left. This might let them sneak in and get the plant down.
But they have heard the footsteps. They started running.
And they're coming back. Aimbot Stalker's taking down Alliator there. So 1 on 2. Spike almost goes down, but Echo gets the frag just in time.
I think the main mistake from the attackers there was the fact that they started running to be quick because they didn't have much time. That gave the enemy, the team, enough information to know exactly where they were going. They didn't know they were rotating back to B, possibly to A, because no one was on site.
I think patience is a very big part of this game.
It's a
On
lot
both
slower
sides.
than most other FPSs, except for maybe Rainbow Six Siege. This is a lot slower than CSGO. You can't just rush in. You have to take it slow. You have to be very methodical in how you approach this.
I
They
think we're
are
going to
going
see
for a full rush C, it looks like.
I think we're going to see the defenders maybe play aggressively again. Because it's really just playing into
That
their
was
strength.
an excellent smoke for moment there.
Echo really tried there, had a lot in his sight, wasn't quite able to get a pick. Aimbot does even out the playing field with a kill on Alliator, but the rocket comes in and gets him. Jambok does take down McFett though in that ultimate animation.
It is quite surprising that Jambot did not go down to that rocket. I was expecting him to go down there.
The attackers have full side control here, but the Sova is rotating up behind them.
Here they
So
are.
he
spotted
does
out.
get caught by a tripwire. Oh, R6 Gamer taking down
the final
2
one.
there. And they know where the final man is. He's trying to maybe get a pick to get back onto site, but I think when you're 5-0 up, you can be fine with losing a round.
Yes, even though you don't need to save this round, it's still probably best to keep the economy up. They won't
Isn't
be too devastated about this round, but they will be more cautious about that C site now by only sending 1 there this round. They might send 2 now.
I think there's no point throwing away a gun just because you've got good eco, you know? That's the kind of play that means in a few rounds you won't have such good eco.
It is sometimes those small things that do matter. Even if it's just like 2,000 credits, if it's just that, it can
see,
still cost you a round.
we see the attackers playing sort of quite a lot on A garden, probably going for that A long push, but the Sova will try and challenge them.
The Sage seems to be pushing out Garage to check mid and has spotted that no one is mid side, which means the Sage can move up.
See a very quick rotate from the defenders here. 3 of them already on A. McFett takes down Snake though, meaning there's just 2 left. As they sort of push onto site, but the ult comes in from Brimstone.
That is a fantastic goal from Brimstone, locking them off for just enough time for the rest of the defenders to rotate.
Unfortunately, doesn't catch anyone. Raze in hell now. It's going to be difficult for the defenders to know that she's actually managed to make it on site despite the Brimstone ult. She's
That was not a good wall from Sage. They left the right side open.
McFett takes down 3 there at the end for the ace. Amazing play,
Our
just
first
spraying them all down.
game as well. That is a very good. It seems like the attackers have learnt their play. They're just going full rush on one site now. It's worked for them twice in a row now. It's now will the defenders catch on and
I
see
think-
as soon as they see one, they'll all rotate.
I think now they're
Finish
going to
so.
try and push through mid courtyard, maybe catch the defender that's always pushing out very aggressively. R6 possibly going to go long to try and drop the site, although he has rotated to cover the flank and protect the rest of his team.
I imagine
Seems-
Cypher here will try to trap up all the rest of the sites. So if they try to rotate quickly through the flank, Cypher will catch them out.
All the ult coming in from Snake here. Will he catch anyone? He knows where they are, but no. DMU just comes up, tanks one of the shots and kills him. Risky play, but it paid off in the end. You see Alligator.
Bot. One on CT side there.
They've walled off
Heaven
Heaven,
is blocked off.
giving them site control, but they haven't planted yet. The Rays seemingly more interested in getting kills, but now going for the plant. Their rear is protected by tripwires, and it seems the defenders maybe know that, and they're just all going back through the spawn. Alligator taking out Echo, but Jambob getting a repick onto R6. McFett taking down Jambob again. But Animus reanimating to sort of give them a chance. McFett making that a waste.
Now, the Sage seems to be sitting on the site with that op. The sensible thing to do here would just be play safe. Go back to long with that op, and wait and look at the bomb.
We see Aimbot was playing very well there to catch McFett, very aggressively. Running it back, but getting shot immediately. Will he just try the same angle? Surprisingly, he will just try the same angle, but it does kind of pay off. But he knows they're long gone by now, as the bomb is about to explode. Impressive to go 5-0 down and then come back to 5-3.
The attackers seem to have found their rhythm. They have the momentum now, which could prove to win them the next few rounds if they play this right. They look like they're
Maybe.
going to full rush mid now.
There's always
They
the
rushed
possibility
it.
that they are the biggest of brains and they lost 5 rounds in a row on purpose. But I
mean,
doubt
I
that's the
haven't seen
truth.
this tactic much, but you know, there's always surprises. It's in beta, obviously, so you never know what tactic's going to come out.
I think you might as well try it at some point, you know?
Now, Alligator looks like he's going to go for the op peak in mid. See if he can get a pick off real quick.
But the
But he's been
Molotov
mollied
comes
out.
in.
That's a very good molly.
Though he did actually avoid all of the damage, so he can just go and peek the same angle again.
And there's one.
Ooh, aimbot. Very good angle there, but doesn't quite get the frag, but he does try and wall off sight to give them less vision. And heal himself back up, of course. The attackers are on site. Aimbot taking down one, but getting refragged immediately. TJ taking down Animus, Jambob taking down Alligator. A lot of kills here.
That was still a pretty good trade for the defenders. They got the information. They still got one frag out of it.
Snake takes down DMU. Echo takes down McFett for the round. Well, it's the end to the attackers' sort of momentum, but they can still come back from this, I think.
What they let Brimstone do there was take that defuse. If I was the defenders there, I would have let Raze take the defuse because they are 1 point off of that ult. If they had taken out the defuse, she would have got an ult for this round. And that ult is can be pretty crucial, pretty devastating if hit right.
Although we do see the attackers with 4 ultimates up, so this could be a good round for them to sort of, okay, we've lost the momentum, let's get back on it with Smoltz and just win some more rounds and catch up to that
They are going
round lead.
full rush C as well, and Sage might be going to block off that mid site to make sure they can't rotate straight through garage. Both Sages are at that garage point, in fact.
I think we're going to see a Roomba push from Echo. Oh no. I've seen a lot of players throw down the Roomba and then chase it out to try and get a frag on someone who's trying to shoot it.
That Roomba has given them information that they know at least one is pushing that site.
He's about to
if they
peek
go-
there and see a lot of them.
That Cypher Cage might have actually saved Echo there. He's about to peek into 3 of them. That could have been devastating.
We see Echo take down Alligator, finally getting a frag on C-site, but the attackers have caught on that they can't do it, although Jambob does take down McFett DMU, getting the refrag. Cypher on his own, going to A, which is completely clear right now, unless the Sova can beat him there. Though it does look the
Cypher
attackers...
uses ult, which made them to know that no one is on A site, giving them a free plant. That is a very good use of the ult there.
Snake.
Have it, all have it.
The ult's coming in from Raised here. But, oh, he does catch McFett out with it. taking down TJ through the smoke. TJ does, however...
Now, if they jump down, they will take damage.
Oh, DMU playing in hell there to get Echo as he comes down from heaven.
Often jumping down from heaven on that A site is a terrible idea unless you are Jet. Because you will take damage and you will stagger enough time for the enemy to kill you.
We see... Oh, Amanus going heaven at just the right time to catch R6 in an animation. And they are trying to go for the defuse. You see... Ooh, will he peek this and try and catch them off? Seems that he will, but Aimbot is protecting and takes down DMU for another win for the defenders. Aimbot going through the tripwire there just to annoy him at the end of round.
Often I do find in this game that when you're pulling out an ability, you do someone peeks right at that moment.
It's the old
Kills you.
It's the old rule of gaming. The moment you're looking at an angle, there'll be no one there. The moment you pull out an ability or try and move, that's when they come around the corner and have an easy kill on you.
And that was a perfect example right there. They can't be blamed for a misplay there. That was just pure unluck right there. And good shooting.
I mean, we see the attackers go for a much more spread out strategy this time. Maybe back to their old ways, trying to switch it up again. The bomb is going down C-Long to encounter the Raze. We're still playing with the Roomba.
Sage
and then backing off.
Mid, but the op has moved just at the time Sage has started peeking. Now no one is in garage, so
Ooh, McFett taking down Animus and Alliator taking down Jambob. 2 defenders down already.
the smart thing to do will be to push through garage. There is no one. Now there is. The Echo just rotated just in time to catch that Sage moving through garage. If they'd moved a little earlier, they would have gotten through there, got a good vantage point on them.
It's a shame the attackers didn't know that C-Site was clear for a while, but Echo, trying to move into position, gets taken down by R6 with the camera spot.
A mistake, there was quite a big mistake there from Echo. They tried to ADS instead of just hip firing. If they had hip fired, they could have won that battle. The ADS cost them valuable seconds, allowing
Snake
that
pushing onto site and taking down TJ. He knows there's another player there, but can't quite find him. They're dancing around the boxes now. McFett takes down Aimbot. Snake does finally get the kill and is going to probably go for the defuse here. Can the attackers get round fast enough? The ult comes in to get him. The Viper was right behind him anyway, so I don't think it's the best use of the ult, but they did win the round at the end of the day.
It does seem to be getting closer now, though. Start from the beginning when it was 5-0. They have picked it up a little bit. Maybe got their footing. Starting to understand their strategies a little more. They do need to mix it up a little bit. They have been rushing a lot. That last round they did split up, which did confuse the enemy team, I believe, there, because they were expecting a rush. But they might want to split again this time. Maybe send one to A site just to get a bit of pressure. Start firing there while the rest go to a different site.
We see McFett taking down 2 immediately on mid, but Aimbot Stalkers does get the refrag. Not quite even, but that was an amazing play to get 2 frags so early on into the round. The attackers, or the defenders, sorry, all rotating away from B now.
Taken C completely over.
Seems like no defenders were on C there. So we're getting the free plant here. The flash does come on. Alliator has to backtrack. Can't watch that angle. As Phoenix pushes on the side, but it's taken down by TJ. Alliator goes back to his old angle to watch for this Raze.
Omen has ulted into the spawn, but that's caught out. The Sova did not manage to frag that Omen, even though
I would like to see what went on there, because we saw them dancing around on the minimap. Echo gets an entry frag onto DMU, and you get the kill. He does take down Alliator for the 3 kills this round. R6 is sat at the bottom of site, watching him. Neither of them killed.
There is not enough time for defuse.
R6 whiffing his first shots, but does eventually take down Echo. Echo, I think, just really trying there to get the defuse. And R6 does go down to the bomb at the end there.
I'm not sure why he decided to come up to that bomb and stay there, but I suppose it could be a tactic. Not one I know, but
I mean, it's the last round, so it's
It is the last round, yeah, that's to be fair. But even if it's the last one, you shouldn't get into bad habits like that, even if it doesn't matter about the economy. Now, I imagine what happened with that Omen in the spawn. I bet that Sova was waiting for the Omen to come out the ult so he could one-tap headshot him, not getting him back to his original position. But unfortunately, I think the Omen might have outplayed him there and might have crouched. I imagine he probably crouched underneath the bullets while he was aiming at the head.
And we see my prediction coming true. As I said to you before the stream, R6 is playing Cypher alone on C. Which is something I've seen him do many a time, and it does often pay off. And I mean, we see the attackers here going A anyway, so it's not like he's gonna see much combat there.
But you see the stuff, he can just put that camera right there, see down the entire lock, and put 2 traps there, which means they can't really get there without the entire team rotating.
Yeah, it's such a good way to hold a site all by yourself. I think the defenders have caught on that this is where the attackers are. We don't see anyone going for a flank yet. Alliator
Raze
peeking.
is still staying mid, just in case there is a flank coming through B.
And
Just
we
like
see
has fully rotated.
we see all of them now rotating onto C, but possibly through mid. But if they do go C, they will get caught by that camera and the tripwire, so they won't stay undetected for long.
They could go through garage here, which would avoid that camera.
But no,
And
this-
you might even catch out the Raze.
I think
But the
they're
Raze
just
has gone into garage now.
walking right into it.
No
The,
more
the
charges
defenders
left.
know where they are now.
Careful now.
And they're in the tripwire. Grenade coming in.
That's a very good grenade from Raze there.
R6 can't quite take down Echo as he does die. The defenders all pushing from a very similar angle here. Alliator trying to catch someone off guard when the smoke goes down. But Echo sees DMU. Will Alliator be able to get the refrag from an unexpected position? It does seem like he can.
They
And he
have
takes down another on Snake, but Jambob does get the refrag. It is a 2-on-3.
Those were some good shots from Vet there, but for all body shots, not going to do enough to take out.
TJ playing through long, probably knows there's a player in Cubby. Or he doesn't apparently, as the Cubby player peeks out, gets him just after his kill on Jambob. Good round from the Now attackers to sort of give them back their 3-round lead.
This will undoubtedly probably lead to the attackers winning this next round as well, because it's very hard to defend on just pistols against SMGs like the Spectre.
Now, I think the Spectre, in my opinion, is one of the strongest guns in the game for its sort of price bracket.
For the price, yeah, it's got really a high rate of fire and it's got fairly good accuracy, especially for a cheap gun.
It's just
It's
good to
worth
pick
a
up
quick
on
buy.
these sort of these light buy rounds almost. The attackers pushing through mid doors here. They're going to encounter the Raze, but they have rotated to.
I
go
imagine
straight
the
into
Raze
B.
have a shorty or some sort of gun like that. Yes, they do have the shorty.
Taking down Echo. Aimbot does take down a defender there though. Alliator taking down Jambob, but does get refragged by Aimbot Sorkus. This is a 3-on-3. The attackers are on site. R6 there, not stopping the plant, but does take down Aminus, or however you say that. Going for the defuse. This is a risky play as the Phoenix comes around and gets him, but he does get to the halfway point, I believe. Aimbot
What
Sorkus
the
on 3 kills for the
Best
round.
thing to do there would have been just to half defuse that and then check the site for anyone else.
Aimbot peaks just the right time to catch McFat, and the attackers take the second round, as you correctly predicted there, with their SMGs in the shorty. It was just too much for the pistols to really counter.
It could turn around now, and now the defenders will have stuff like the Vandal and the Phantom if they've properly ecoed correctly. Which it looks like they do indeed. One has a Marshal, so I bet they'll probably be sitting on that C site. Or no, they're going to
No, they are playing B. The Cypher again, playing alone on C site with the camera. I think it just gives you sort of that pre-knowledge to know when they're going to push and all that.
They have used a Sage head peek
Joke's
spot
over.
on mid there.
You're dead.
Very good spot. You can just see their heads and nothing else.
Takes
Which makes
down the
it
run it
really
back, which is obviously good enough. Can't quite get the actual frag. So Aimbot Stalkers does come back for revenge and take him down. The defenders here rotating to try and catch them off.
Aliator should have not have stayed on those boxes once he took down that run it back.
Echo
knew
takes
exactly
down
where it was.
R6. And the attackers have complete control over C short and mid doors, and now C is actually completely open for them, and there are still 5 of them left. If they can get onto site, realize it's empty, and get the plant down, this will be very
Wow.
difficult for the defenders to come back and retake.
Either that Raze or the Soviet should try and move through the CT spawn to see if they can catch out any rotation from A.
We see McFett take down Echo as he tried to do just that. McFett now in a dangerous position, though he does have a teammate to back him up. DMU coming through from C shore. Does not last long as Jambot takes down McFett and Aimbot Sorkus takes down DMU.
Now,
TJ left
here,
alone here.
he should just save this round. You do not have a great economy as it is, and you're not going to 1v4 realistically.
I think he wants to go for 1 or 2 picks just to ruin the attacker's economy a little bit, but he does seem to be backing off now that the bomb's a little bit close to finishing. Maybe worried about exactly what
Looks
the
like
Phoenix is doing now.
Phoenix is flanking.
They are going to meet.
Might help him out. Oh,
Aimbot Stalkers again there, proving his name as the aimbot.
does get the headshot.
He's a very good player, Aimbot. I've seen him
He
every
is the
game I've
top
watched of his. He is always top fragger. That's,
23 kills in this game. That is a very impressive score, especially for only 15 rounds as well. It does look like Amanus is getting a little carried in this game at the 3 and 11. It could just be a bad game for them. I have a lot of those as well.
I think we all do. We all like to think we're good at the game, but usually it's just bad days. Or maybe we're all just actually bad at the game. And we have good days. Echo trying to push really aggressively there, but does not work. Sorry, McFett pushing aggressively. And
Alliator tries to judge there, which is very powerful, but unfortunately, just the AK is just much stronger.
DMU trying to hold the site, but the attackers rotate onto C and catch off R6 and TJ, taking them all down. It is now left up to DMU, who just has a pistol. So I don't really have much
They do have
faith in him.
But
Does take down Snake, but Aimbot again getting 3 kills and taking him down. Definitely a player to watch, not just in this match, but in the future as well. I think Aimbot will prove himself to be quite a big name. Maybe just here, or maybe in a sort of wider scale as well.
Echo has also shown quite good skill in this match as well. But they do know what they're doing with Raze. Even though now they only have 1 grenade, they seem to not need it in this one, especially as they have our ult now. They could push through Garage and get that Garage window pretty easily with Raze ult. Just have to walk in, ult through it, maybe satchel charge to get closer up, and you will just kill them.
They have trying to get ahead there. Alliator again taking down the running back and taking down Anna and taking down Echo, but does go down to Snake. Great double pick there. McFett uses the ult to take down Aimbot Circus. DMU taking down Jambob. Snake getting the refrag, but McFett taking him down. And finally, we see a round for the defenders in this half.
And they have taken up the op. McFett has taken the op up. Will they keep it for themselves? Will they give them to someone else?
That was a very quick round there. Great play from the defenders, just converging on where the attackers were and just shooting them from all sides and getting all the frags that they needed to win.
It must mean that they trust Alliator with the op on this one, because McFett did drop the op for Alliator on this round.
He has shown that he does have quite a lot of skill with it. I've seen him get a few nice shots with it. TJ, I think, trying to smoke? Yes, trying to smoke to allow him to push up on all the attackers, but he does retreat from it. Perhaps he hears them. He's a very short-range teleport there.
It do seem, I think it was just to make sure they weren't running past that long, just in case they'd fast pushed, and they could have picked him if he didn't teleport there.
You see all of the attackers going down a long here, but Alliator takes one of them down with the op, making that worth it. TJ takes down Jambob.
For the change.
Continue to spray through the smoke, but doesn't manage to pick any of them up.
Sage is holding heaven here. They could get a pick. As they walk by, they have got a pick.
They do. Gets a second on Amanus. That is great play. He has spike control, and the lone attacker is nowhere nearby.
Should leave. Realistically, that spot now, because
but Alliator,
they did have information of where they exactly were. It would have made more sense to rotate back round mid, maybe onto the long side instead.
Or possibly onto T-spawn, just to watch it from a different angle. I don't know.
Often keeping saying angles is a bad idea. You can just pre-fire around the corner, and you will often get a headshot even when you do it. Even though it's less accurate, it's still often to get a headshot, especially if you know exactly where they're going to be.
Alliator making it not matter though, as he does manage to get the last kill there, and a flawless round for the defenders, which is good because, I mean, they've got the operator for free, and that will boost their eco back up again. You see the attackers going for a very similar tactic here, just with Echo trying to push mid. TJ does go down to Snake though, as we see the rest of the attackers converge.
Now they have got a pick on A. They will all rush A now. They know they are at least one down there. They've got a bigger chance of getting the plant down and succeeding in this.
Failed recon bolt there. We see Heaven being smoked off, same as D-side spawn. The attackers are fully onto site here with 5 people against 4. Alligator trying to peek with that operator. Can he find 1 or 2 picks? He can on Echo.
Aimbot does see that orb.
Although he goes down to it, but the ult comes in and completely destroys him. I'm surprised he didn't try and move faster. DMU here with his
There you go.
R6. R6 comes onto the site, takes down Snake, takes down Aminus, gets the info on where their last opponent is, takes him down for a 3k and gets the defuse. Oh, well, the Raze does, but it is all thanks to R6's great 3k there.
R6
winning another round.
And that was looking a bit dicey at the beginning there, but they've managed to pull it back. Could this be the comeback from 11-6 down?
Can they
win
win 12? Or...
Can they make it 13 or even 13-11? Can they win every round from now on? They have the economy. Most of them have 8k at this point.
I think they
And
definitely have the skill.
Defenders don't have, well, the attackers do not have as much. They do have enough to buy up their AKs and their Phantoms and Vandals. They can buy all that up, which means they do have a good round coming up here.
I mean, see, the defenders actually, I believe, have a lot of ultimates up, so they will be able to use those to maybe throw off the attackers even more. The recon bolt coming onto C site there, spotting R6, although it doesn't because he manages to hide out of line of sight. The attacker's not sure who's there. Hammer going over the top.
A good strategy is to walk onto site and use her ult now. That will prevent them from managing to get on this site.
Although Alligator does take down Snake, Aimbot Stalkers also using that operator to take down R6. The attackers, I think, debating what their next move is as 3 defenders move onto site. Alligator trying to get more vision down that long corridor. The Brimstone still playing in cubby though, might be trying to catch one of them as they rotate. DMU rezzing R6 to bring them back to a full 5-5. Very good use of the ult there.
Keeping an eye on that long site there, just in case they are going to go for the A site. And there's 2 rotated back to B now, and Phoenix has moved round to the right.
When he takes down Macbeth, running back around the corner to try and find out some information, and he does. Gets the pick just as the ult is used, wasting it completely. Aminus takes down R6 as the running back procs, and he goes back. Sage coming up from behind, taking down one.
That is quite
taking him down,
unfortunate
however.
for the Viper there. That was the right use of the ult, unfortunately just wrong timing, and the run it back just countered it quite heavily there.
TJ there takes down Aimbot Sorkus, but Aminus knows where he's coming from, holds an angle, and just pops him in the head. And the attackers take another round to put them on match point. I think
This
I think
could be
this could be it.
could be the end. They do now. They've got their round back. They could get that little bit of momentum they need just to finish this off.
I mean,
And
they're sat in a relatively safe position right now because they've only got to win 1 out of the next
The
5
defenders
rounds.
though, have gone for 2 ops this round though, which is interesting. Often you only want 1 op on a team just because you need that quick fire ADS on your team instead of just the 1 shot. 'Cause if you miss that 1 shot and they rush you, that is over.
But just sitting in the slow wall because he knows it will give away his position.
Now they changed Sage's slow orb recently, where you cannot hear anyone walking in it anymore. It does not give away walking positions. They changed this in the recent patch, and all in the air as well. So you cannot bunny hop as effectively through the Sage orb as you used to be able to.
Pays off for McFett as he does take down Echo. The attackers rotating onto C, but the defenders know they're there. McFett holding a position as R6 takes down Aimbot, and Snake gets the refrag. Aminus raises Aimbot, but Alias takes down one. McFett takes down another as Aminus takes down McFett.
The Omen has gone into the flank on long there with the ult.
Oh, and he takes down TJ. Aminus, the only one left, takes down Alliator. It's a 2v1 as he walls off part of sight, although that will probably give away what location he's peeking from, as TJ knows that and pops him as soon as he peeks.
Very effective ult from Omen there. They did not see the Omen come behind them, even though there is an audible cue for where the Omen is teleporting. You can hear it, so they should have really heard that behind them. They might want to turn their audio up there, because they might have actually won that round if they had heard that Omen.
Although very good play from the defenders. They know right now that they cannot lose a single round for the rest of this match if they want to get the win, which is obviously going to make them very tense, and maybe there's going to be a bit of salt between teammates now.
It could be, especially as they're not all well linked and connected to each other. They might have a bit of a...
Oh, a great ult there, taking down Amanus, taking down Aimbot Circus, but Echo does get the refrag. I was very surprised to see him jump up like that and try and go for a lot of heavy frags. That is a good start to the round for the defenders. The attack is thrown off massively by their loss of 2 teammates, and their Sage especially, so there's no chance of them getting a res.
Whenever the Raze usually does put their ult, they always usually use a satchel charge to jump up because it throws off your opponents. You do not have an aim deficiency when you're using that rocket launcher. It's just a straight shot in an AoE, and it's very effective. For some reason, though, the Phoenix did not turn around when they heard that rocket, which caused them to die.
I mean, R6 getting another frag, so it's 4v2 now for the defenders here.
They
And
are.
the attackers playing in A short, both together, trying to get on site.
The only one there is Omen. They are on Heaven, so they will not see this until they come right around the boxes. And they have moved away from site, though, but the Brimstone smoke might have given away that they are there, though.
The smoke, the spike is going down, sorry, but the Omen still hasn't revealed himself. Great play from him to wait for some reinforcements. He knows he probably can't take on both of them at the same time. Alliator comes back with the operator.
He did hear them rotate. Well, only the Brimstone left. Right in the
Alliator
boxes.
takes down Snake, Jambog takes down TJ, but R6 gets the refrag, and DMU goes for the defuse with plenty of time. We see the defenders now up to 10 rounds won. 2 more, and, well, 3 more and they win. 2 more and they go to overtime, and I think if you lose in overtime, I think you've still had a pretty good match.
I was not expecting this game to be this close from the start, especially when they were 5-0 down. The fact they've managed to claw their way back as much as they have now is quite impressive. Even if they don't win, they should be proud of their performance here.
Because if you think about it, if you cut off those first 5 rounds, they've been doing very well since then.
They have. They've been getting their aim back. McFett has been getting a lot of quick frags at the beginning of rounds, especially on defense. Especially that one a minute ago where he jumped out with the rocket launcher, got 2 frags instantly.
And I think as a Raze player, you should know that maybe it's one of those characters where you put yourself in a position, get 2 kills and die, because you're still getting a player up on your opponent. I think that's maybe what she's geared to do.
It is the engage, see if you can get a quick frag, maybe a trade.
Oh, the attackers thinking they're safe on A, but TJ does take down Jambo as he pushes on. And takes down Amanus, trying to counter snipe him. Takes down Snake for a 3k. He has held down this site almost entirely by himself. Although he is getting wallbang now, he is gonna go down possibly. But the rest of the defenders have plenty of time as TJ takes down a 4th.
Will he
Getting a
get the
4k. I don't know. Oh no, McFett steals it with him with a kill on aimbot, but still, the Omen there playing Heaven exactly as he should have, letting the attackers feel safe and then popping out to get 4 kills for that round. That
I
is
do not want to take too much
amazing.
credit away from the Omen there, but that was more on the attacker's blunder. They're just constantly re-peeking the same angle, letting that Omen just op them constantly in the same place.
Oh, I think
They shouldn't
everyone.
be re-peeking that.
I think everyone likes to
Everyone
think, oh,
fancies
they're in
themselves.
AWP, I can beat that. I can just headshot them. But clearly in that situation, it was not true. Great
At that
play
point,
there,
they
though.
should have just rotated away from that. They knew that they did not have control of that site.
The only issue was by that time, Spike was pretty much down. I just don't think it clicked fast enough for them to go, we maybe should stop the plant and move somewhere else. And at that point, you're committed to that site. You can't rotate away from it.
This is
Alliator here, playing on mid with the
a
operator.
lot of unforced errors at the moment on the attackers. If they just play the way they did at the beginning without those errors, quick picks, they will easily get this round.
I think they've been shaken up a bit. They were so far ahead, and now they're just 1 round ahead and playing rather passively. Aimbot does take down DMU though, maybe giving them the push they need to win the game. Alliator gets a shot through the firewall to take down Aimbot. McFett taking down Amanus. TJ going for the teleport to get the flank as R6 takes down Jambob. Playing very aggressively here to push up, interrogating them to find out where all of the attackers are. He knows he's relatively safe to push this angle. Snake takes down TJ. R6 is still coming for that flank. There's a 3v2
If I
for the
were that
defenders.
Phoenix right now, I would be very salty that I got popped through my flames. That is very unfortunate for him. He did
Alliator here on site. He's going to see them, but he will not take down Snake. He thinks one's on site now, holding an angle. And he takes down Echo. They have sight. They have Spike, and he takes down Snake for the 3K to win and go 12-12 in this first match here.
These
That
offers
is-
are getting a lot of value. Both TJ and Aliator have both popped off on this op so far.
I think
TJ
you were a
getting
bit
more
you were a
frag.
bit thrown off when they started using 2 operators, but I don't think they've lost a round since.
They haven't. No, it's a tactic that's working for them, and they should probably stick with it. Unfortunately, though, they do not have the money because this is the final round. All money gets reset back to 5K for everyone, so they all have an equal chance of winning now. But that could spell defeat
For the
for
defenders here.
here because they do not have this up advantage that they had beforehand.
We see the attackers pushing C straight off the bat, which I don't think is something we've seen them do much. Maybe trying to throw off the defenders here, but there are plenty of defenders in the area. In fact, McFett takes down Echo straight away on mid. That is a great start for the defenders here. 2 defenders on C, and they're all sat in long now. Going for a rotate. Don't know where they're going to go, but Snake is still holding the angle to protect their backs in case the defender tries to aggressively peek them. Seems like they're playing this very slow.
The defenders are playing very passive. They're not pushing. They're not risking this. They want to win this.
Oh, when it's
They
when it's golden round, you do not want to be playing aggressively as the defenders. You want to be keeping it safe, getting those picks, and just whittling the attackers down because the attackers have to push. I mean, the defenders have already used half a minute of their time here, and the attackers have made no progress into sight. In fact, they've lost a very useful member of their team.
Now, it
And,
looks like this Phoenix. No, they're going to go through the garage instead. It looks like instead of peeking mid, which is they peek mid, they would have lost that one.
But see, Snake there getting his location revealed, so they still know where at least one player is.
They still
And
know
they're
they must be
rotating to
pushing
cover
C.
him.
If one is still there, and the Phoenix is going back through mid actually. Now he's given up on garage.
Though he will encounter
With
McFett. Oh, he does take down McFett, evening out the playing field, but it is 27 seconds left on the round. I don't know if there's enough time with this Omen still watching A, though they do have B site control, which may play into them as they are going to rush in and try and get the plant down.
The Sova is rushing to the side.
Alliator takes down Snake.
That is the
That is a good
spike
pick,
as
but
well.
Aimbot takes down Alliator, and they have site control again. Spike goes down just mere seconds before the end of the round. This is getting very close here. R6 takes down Jambo, giving the defenders a player up.
Joke's
Aimbot
over.
takes
You're
him
dead.
down in return. 2v2 now. The ult from Phoenix there, completely wasted as TJ sees it come out.
There is a Sage flanking though. They're coming from 2 different angles here, but they will most likely catch out the Sage, but will they see the Phoenix?
DMU taking down Aminus. He has a shot on the Phoenix. He takes him down, and that is a amazing round from the defenders there to win
They
the game.
Done the comeback, was not expected. I thought the attackers would win that one. They looked strong from the beginning, but they've thrown it away on the defense.
To go from 5-0 down to come back and win the match, that is actually a pretty impressive play from the winners there, the red team on this
That
screen.
Was a very intense game. Aimbot might be a bit salty after the game after getting 34 kills and losing.
Yeah, but I
He
think
might be a bit salty on that one.
that last round there, especially, that went down to the wire. The plant didn't go down until sort of 4 or 5 seconds before the end of the round, and it was just amazing to watch. All of the players sort of really strap in and get that last round done in perfect style from all players there.
This was a great match to watch. Very, very intense. Just down to the wire. Brilliant match. They had a bit of dicey moment, especially for the red team there at the beginning. Didn't have much hope in them at the beginning there, but they did hold their own in the attack. Didn't lose too many rounds. I think it was 7-4. Somewhere maybe 7-8-4.
I think it was 7-5 going into the second half. So they were
That's pretty good, especially for
felt-
Haven.
they fell 5 rounds behind at the start, but then since then 7-5 going into the second half. They were 11-6 at one point. So they were 5 rounds behind with their opponents only 2 rounds off the win, but somehow they managed to get from 11-6 to 12-12 to 13-12 and win the game, which is very impressive.
I do think TJ there needs a little more recognition than what he says on the scoreboard. He did pull off some very good rounds with that op, saving possibly some vital kills. Even though he may have had some bad rounds at the beginning, not getting any frags, but on defense, he pulled it back and showed that, maybe he wasn't salty from that one, kept composed, got those kills, and ultimately, they got the win.
I think it was just a perfect match to both watch and, well, I certainly enjoyed casting it, and
This was a great match to cast. It was close to the way on, a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of misplays, but then they don't really have the synergy together because they're not played together tons. They haven't got the synergy as if you would for an entire uni team. It was all the same people from that one uni. You'd have the synergy, to have the comms up. You'd have these plays that would make much more sense other than just full rushing or some splitting, getting these random picks off that you seem to get at the beginning of the round. A lot of times you get a few seconds. I spotted this in the games that we had today. A few seconds in, we just had like a quick kill for no reason. It was a pointless peek and they got killed for it. There was no one with them to trade with it either. Whereas if you had a comm for it, you'd have someone to trade there if there was a kill.
I think it was also interesting to see how comms played such a big part in that match, because the eventual winners we could see at the start maybe they weren't too used to playing with each other. They've possibly never played with each other before, and that's why perhaps they lost 5 rounds in a row. But once they got into the match and got to know each other and like how to play together, they came back for that victory. So I think what possibly happened was that they weren't so good on their own, but once they got that teamwork going, they were a lot stronger team overall than maybe the individuals on their opponent's side, like Sorkus. And actually, we have Sorkus here now to speak to us. So welcome. How do you feel that went overall?
I mean, it's really sad. I think we were winning, losing it right at the end. I think it was 12-7 to us, 12-6, and we just just couldn't.
I know
it was 12-8.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
That's when you lost, unfortunately, all those rounds there. I mean, you had a very good start with that 5-0.
Yeah, we really, at the start we were dominating. We had some really good calls by jammers. He's IGLing the entire game, and we had a really solid team going there. And then all just I don't know, it fell apart on the attacking side, I think.
Do you know why that was? You have a breakdown of communication, or?
I don't know. No. The communication was great. We just couldn't decide at the start of the attacking side where to go. We were thinking, go A, because I figured out they had only one person playing A, but the rotation was too quick. And yeah, that's what I figured out. And we started going there, but we weren't winning the after plants. I think we lost every time we went there. We planted and just lost afterwards, and it just didn't work.
It was a very good game, though. Very close, at least. But
it was very close, yeah. Especially the last round as well.
The last round, very close. Just 2v2 at the end there. Very, very good match, that one.
I was certainly I wasn't even playing, and I couldn't handle how how intense that last round was. Watching all the the first pick at the start of it, just everything that went on. I don't know how you players deal with the intensity. But,
no, I mean, a lot of the team members were, including me, we were very a bit nervous. People were saying as we were playing, 100 viewers or whatever it was, and I don't know, it was quite stressful as well. And I think the nerves got the better of us towards the end.
Well, either way, it was a very impressive match to watch. Congratulations on your 34 kills.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to get the team the win, but
you could have been a bit salty at the end there. The fact that you got maybe 34 kills and still lost that one.
If it was ranked, I'd be salty, but it's not. It's a 10-man, so you move on.
I mean, it's all about fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a great team as well. Met some new lads, so that's good.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you for coming to speak to us.
Thank
you. We're gonna go to a short break now, and then we'll be back in a minute for some more games on this stream. So, see you in a bit.
Can you feel it? Haunting your senses, letting all your feelings go. But I can feel it, but